What's good, YouTube? It's Jake. I'm a homie of the guy, of the man, the myth, the legend himself, Scarlet Tide TCG. I'm going over. We're doing a post-event like recap video. Got any questions or concerns? You can post them down in the comments below. All right, homie. What's your name? What you play today?
So I'm Dino Fighter. I played Grixis mid-range control today at an RCQ at Grove Warden Games in Hillsboro, Oregon. Don't forget to give like, comments, and shares not only to my channel, which is Scarlet Tide, which I'm sure I can have somewhere in one of the boxes here. Don't forget to give No Luck Needed, NLN, not only Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic, Vanguard. Any questions you have, don't forget to give them a like, comment, and share. Today, like I said, I played Grixis mid-range control, kind of, sort of, with an over-the-top.
All right. So you said you played at a RCQ over at Grove Warden. What were your matchups today?
So today, I was really kind of sort of worried about one particular matchup, and I was coming off of a break because I'd gotten, that's a different story. And round one, I ended up with Azorius control. I lost a die roll. And the problem is, like, when you play Grixis and you go into Azorius, they also have counterspells. And even though, like, certain cards that I play get around that situation, they have counterspells that are going to get around my counterspells. And with the game 3, it was a great matchup. Unfortunately, I don't have any footage to show you guys as much as I wish I did. It was an RCQ, which is a premier event, which means that I did not have the, ability to record any of those matches. Round two is a little bit of a unfortunate because I ended up. What did I play against round two? I'm trying to remember. Oh, I played. It was kind of sort of like a delve version of like Demir, is it type thing. It was like a Grixis version, but it only played the black like splash for removal. It was more is it. I got paired up for that, and then round three, I ended up catching a good one. It was a good matchup. I went game 3. I played against Mono White. Round 4, this was the round that it went all 3 games in the Mono White. I sideboarded some things for this matchup because it was the other matchup that's a little rough because they're super aggro and they build a board. Round 4, which was the matchup I was trying to dodge, was Mono Green Devotion. I lost a dice roll. He had to mull down to 5, and I hit double Thoughtseize.
It be what it be.
It be what it be. But I made a mistake on my sideboarding because I sideboarded some cards again for the matchup, and I mis-sideboarded. Round 5, I played the Archfiend version of this of Grixis with the enchantment that just makes a copy of a creature, and Archfiend, like when it makes the copy of Archfiend, apparently, I'll get into that a little bit more, which is the version that I'm kind of sort of thinking about switching this a little bit to have that engine, because it's basically free. Is that when you make a copy of the Archfiend and you put it on your opponent's side of the board, it doesn't come with the counters, and so you just auto win. But I'm getting into the deck list of what I played today. I made a couple changes today, so I will tell you what was in that place. So onto the list, we play 4 Blood Tithe Harvester because this is your engine. This is your vampire for 1 black, 1 red. He makes a blood token, and then you can tap him, sack him, and then for every blood token that you have on the board, it gets -X. It also, when it creates a blood says tap 1, sack it, discard, draw, and so in this build, it's super important. Play 4. Since we play Grixis, and it's a value engine, and I play some other things, but we play 3 Corpse Appraiser. This is from 1 blue, 1 black, 1 red, and when it ETBs, you can exile a creature from either graveyard, check top 3, put a card in your hand. You do not have to reveal these. The other 2 go to the discard pile. This is a little bit different than most. I only play 3 Bone Crushers. Most lists that are Grixis play 4 of these for the stomp, because for 1 colorless and 1 red, you can put it in the adventure, put it on an adventure at instant speed, and it deals 2 damage to any target. And then when it's targeted for a spell or ability, the controller takes 2. Then we play, this is where my list is a little bit different. This is where people are going to ask a lot of questions. I play 2 Atraxa. So here is the combo. So are you going to ask some questions? I assume you have.
Yeah, no, yeah. So just for the viewers in the down below, how do you get this bad bitch out?
So there's a silly combo from March Machine for 5 colors and 2 black. I also have another way because I commit tax fraud because I'm Grixis. So I have ways to commit tax fraud and just cast this, hard cast this. But there's a sorcery I'm going to talk about a little bit later. That is the way that we typically cast this card.
Alrighty.
So would you so basically what this does, so back in my day, we would have lost our flippin' minds if we would have found out that we had a creature that had flying, vigilance, death touch, and lifelink, and also has an ETB trigger. So when this ETBs, you can check and reveal the top 10 cards of your library, put 1 of each type of card in your hand.
That's pretty good. Free value engine right on top of a big ol' 7/7.
Right, and it has death touch. So like, and vigilance. So not only do you get to swing with it, and with the lifelink you gain life. It's a flyer.
Big old booty.
It's a big bitch. Here's the other funny part. So a bunch of people are gonna hate on me for this, but I play 1 Natali Primacron card. So this, what's funny about this is we can hardcast this. Okay, so this is 5 colorless and 2 red. It has trample. It also has a flip side. We don't care about the flip side in this build. What we care about is the ETB. So when this creature hits the battlefield, whether it's from the other play or whether we hardcast this, we exile cards not only from our library, from our opponent's library, and we get to cast things for free.
That's pretty good, being able to get a look at what your opponent's playing before they get into their full combo, and then being able to combo off some of these hardcore pieces you got over here. Sounds pretty nice.
It's nice. It's a top end. We only play 3 top end cards creature wise for that reason, because like we still want to be mid range and we still want to keep up with what the opponent is doing.
That's understandable.
That's enough for creatures. I think we play 3, 6, 9, 13 creatures in the main board. Off to the artifact vehicles. Originally, we were playing 4 of these today. I cut these down to 2. Today, I made a couple changes. Me and my testing partner, Jake, and I came up. He showed me another card that I completely and totally forgot about that was in my colors. It's a Planeswalker. Spoiler alert. That does some really, really funny things. This is more just a draw engine. This comes on to play. It's a 2. It's colorless, so any deck can play this. But it also, for 2 and taps itself, you can remove a charge counter. Mind you, you can do this at instant speed at your opponent's turn. Draw a card, and once you remove all the charge counters from this, it creates a treasure and a pilot. The pilot can tap itself to crew this. This takes crew 3. It's a 1/1.
That, man, free card advantage and a big creature. That's pretty good.
Well, and it gives you draw engine as well, and you can do, and again, it's at instant speed.
Well, yeah, I mean, draw engines that turn into, big creatures that you can activate on both players' turns sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it feels good. So this is one of the...
All right, so the camera can already see this little crazy boy over here.
So I don't want to give any kind of whatever. This is one of the changes we made today.
Now, what's this boy do?
So this boy, this is Nicobolas, Dragon God. So for 1 blue, 3 black, and a red, you have a static ability that when this comes onto play, when it ETBs, let's say your opponent, let's say you're playing into Mono Green Devotion, and they have a Karn and a Kiora, right? Well, Kiora, on the turn that you're going to cast this, Kiora's going to be at 6. And so you're coming at 4, Karn's going to be at 1 or 3, okay? So now you're getting +9 onto your Nicobolas, okay? Well, now you're going to be at 13 loyalty. For the first few turns, okay, we're going to make sure, since we play certain other removal spells for the Planeswalkers, because we don't like the Mono Green Devotion matchup, that the +1, the -3, it's nice, don't get me wrong. The -3, we're going to talk about, but the +1's huge. So we're going to draw a card, and each opponent exiles a card from their hand or permanent they control. We absolutely love this going into Mono Green Devotion. We can also -3, and we can destroy target creature or Planeswalker. So we got destruction. We also have additional Planeswalker destruction. Now, let's get into what the funny shit is.
Yeah, there's a big old wall of text down at the bottom there.
Let's get into the funny shit here. So we can -8 loyalty. Okay, now mind you, in the Mono Green Devotion, we're going to be at +3. We're already going to come out at 13. So we're going to -8 loyalty. This is assuming that we already have answers. We play answers for their planeswalkers. Each opponent who doesn't control a legendary creature or a planeswalker loses the game.
Okay, now you're gonna have to repeat that for the video watchers, just in case they didn't understand what you said there.
Okay, so one more time. So we have multiple matchups that do not play legendary creatures or planeswalkers. We can -8 loyalty, and for each opponent, again, it does not say one opponent. This can also be played in CEDH. Hint, hint. But each opponent who does not control a legendary creature or a planeswalker at -8 loses the game. Auto win button.
That's a hefty win button right there.
Again, ABC, always be closing. Shout out to many YouTube channels.
If that ain't the motto for Grixis, I don't know what is.
Again, yes, if that ain't the motto for Grixis, if that ain't the motto for almost 80% of the meta right now, we're looking at 12.3, 12.8% for Mono Green Devotion. We're looking at about or 13.1. Today I only ran into one. I got told there was 4 other players there today. Gruel Vehicles, Recto Sacrifice. We have a lot of things that are really, really good. Here is your other enabler engine. I don't think this card needs any introduction. We play 3 copies of Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Some people are saying, why don't you play the 4th copy? You don't really need it. If you don't see this by turn 3, you're probably not going to go into it. Because by the time, if you don't see this where you're making your engine for your big plays, this is more just a way to loot and to get to the second saga. Sure, you'll cast it just so you can get the saga to get to your plays. We play 2 Go for the Throats. This is Destroy Not. Wait.
Whoa, you play.
Excuse me. I was playing 2 Go for the Throats. This was a Go for the Throat. A Drowning Lock. This was 2 Go for the Throats originally. I have decided that I want another counter spell that goes off of whatever I do to my opponent, and there's other things we do which makes this counter spell where, depending on what your opponent has in the graveyard, will matter. And so keep a mind on that, why we put that in there.
More counter spells never hurt anyone.
So then we play 2 Shield Your Edicts. This is our answer to pretty much anything this can make here, but for 1 color and 1 black, I get to choose one. Each opponent sacrifices a non-token creature. Each opponent sacrifices a creature token, a creature token, or each opponent sacrifices a planeswalker. This goes into our plays with Nicobolas, into the Mono Green Devotion, so we can go, okay, cast Nicobolas, okay, get rid of this, then the Kiora. I just got the loyalty counter, swing into Karn, main phase 2, -8, you lose.
That seems pretty good.
Then we play 3 Fatal Push. Originally I was playing 2 and a cut down. These are just better because as Grixis, we want to be controlling the tempo. And the problem is like we're in a big like mid-range meta right now. In Mono Green Devotion, if you don't have an answer to their mana dorks, you just cry. Because if you don't get rid of their dorks and you don't have an answer to the Willhaven or get rid of it or have a way to pop things or keep them from getting to Karn, it's just a bad game. Play Fatal Push. You can play Cut Down. I more prefer to play Fatal Push because I can go swing, sack, Blood Tithe, Revolt, get rid of the Sheoldred. So I'm really going +3 for 1 and +1 on board. So, and I'm making them not be able to gain life and I'm not losing life anymore.
That sounds pretty good.
We play 2 Breach the Multiverse.
Now, what's this do?
This is from March the Machine. This is another one of the top up. This is our way to get to our combo yet again. So this is our main combo piece. So for 5 colorless and 2 black, Each player mills 10 cards from their graveyard. I get to cast a creature card from each graveyard, not from the top 10. So let players understand that when you breach the multiverse, you are not required to cast something out of the top 10. It is each graveyard. Now, when it says cast, okay? So, and it becomes a Phyrexian, which is really, really funny and standard. That deck profile will be coming later with Sculpted Perfections and Grafted Butchers. There's
sauce on the works. Just let them cook.
There's funny stuff coming, and Atraxa standard legal, and it's a Phyrexian already. Just saying.
Did we hear Phyrexian Tribal?
It's coming. It's coming. And it's really funny because like Grafted Butcher and Sculpted Perfections, and we have Abzan cards that came out that are still legal, that are one white and one black, just so happens to be an Abzan, a Phyrexian, and gives us free engine. And so we also have Venerated Halfling, and there's very funny things we can do for this. This is your combo piece. Play the card. Card's good.
So why not? Why, if this is a combo piece, why aren't you playing 4 of it?
Over the top. So this is the problem is it's like we already play an Atali, 2 Atraxas, and 2 Breach. That puts us at 5 over the tops. We're still in mid range. We want to see this late game. We don't want to see this early. We don't want to see this until we've gone through Fable, gotten our Atraxas in graveyard, gone to the Bloodlights, cleared their board, Fatal Push, gotten to all of our pieces where we're drawing and discarding. So we yes, it's a combo piece, yes, but we really don't want to see it until late game.
Fair enough.
This is another card that we changed today. Originally, we were only playing 3 Thoughtseize. I don't remember exactly what I cut for this. Oh, another Reckoner Bankbuster. I was playing 4. We cut another Reckoner Bankbuster to get this. The 4th one. This is a big deal. If you're an older player, you know what Thoughtseize does. If you play Pioneer, you know what Thoughtseize does. If you play Modern, you know what Thoughtseize does. But for those who don't know, this is a single black sorcery. Target player reveals their hand. You can discard a non-land from it. You pay 2 life. This is going to be really, really funny moving forward in Ashiok. Pay attention. Pick them up now. Pick your Ashioks up. Not at the moment because they're like $53 on pre-order, but I am telling you right now, pick up your Thoughtseizes, pick up your Ashioks.
Alrighty. You heard it here first, folks.
We'll play Grixis. We might as well. We play Mystical Dispute in the main board. I actually confused a lot of people today main decking this. Most people side this. But this spell costs 2 less to cast if it's countering a blue spell. And Azorius Spirits is actually pretty good right now. And so for a single blue, you can counter, unless they pay 3, pretty much anything they play. It feels good. Plus, it's the best art. 2 make disappears. This has casualty 1. This is 1 for a blue. Counter target spell unless your opponent plays 2. Pays 2. We're Grixis. We have blue mana available. We should play some counters.
Counter spells never hurt anyone.
Off to the lands.
Unless you're a Jund player, that is.
Yeah, unless you're a Jund player, or like really like unless you're like another like Dimir tempo, you kind of feel bad against the Dimir match, like when they go Mystical Dispute and you just can't do anything. I had that happen to me today, but I don't want to talk about it. Before anybody says anything, I know, I need to get these. I play 4 Sulphur Springs. I know there's 1 white border. It should be 4 white borders or 4 borderless. This art is ugly.
You could say that again. This art is beautiful.
We love the borderless. I also like, this is a 5th edition Sulphur Springs, so this has like a piece in my heart. Just because it's...
For all you new heads, this is what Magic cards used to look like.
And for all you other new heads, get off the borderless so other players can get them. Or don't, actually. keep on these so I can get the white borders. And before you make fun of me, 4 black cleave quests. Yes, I know they're not fucking borderless. This is a fast land. If you this is a pain land. Sorry about that. Most of you should know this. This is old. Black cleave quests, fast land. If you control 2 or fewer lands, it comes in untapped. It taps for Rakdos. Black red. My pride and joys. We play 4 Darkslick Shores. This is the Dimir version of Black Cleave Cliffs. If you have 2 or fewer lands, it comes in untapped. If you have 2 or more, or 3 and up, it comes in tapped. It taps for Dimir colors, blue or black. Gorgeous borderless playset, by the way.
Oh yeah.
We play 2 Blight Step Pathways. The only reason we play these is because they're flip lands. So you can, if like you're in a situation where you're missing a red or you're missing a black, you can flip it and cast it. Now, when it hits the board, if you flip it to Seer Step, it becomes a Seer Step. If you play this land as a permanent as Blight Step, it has to stay as Blight Step. It cannot flip and transform while on board.
So you'd have to add it back to hand and then redrop it.
You would have to find a way to bounce it, yes. We play 1 Blood Crypt because it's a shock land, it's Rakdos. This was a Mirrex. This is better. Picked up a Watery Grave today. We play 1 Sokunzen. This makes goblins, and it's a channel for 3 in a red, and it creates 2 1/1 colorless spirit creature tokens. Excuse me. And it costs 1 less for every legendary creature you control. Then we play 1 Takanuma. This makes it's the same thing as Sokunzen, except for you mill 3 and you can add 2 creatures. We play Catacomb because if we control an island or a swamp, it comes in untapped. Otherwise, it comes in tapped, and it's Dimir colors. 1 Shivan Reef. This is really supposed to be a 2nd Blood Crypt or Stonecarved Coast. I haven't fully figured this out yet, but the land base is getting ready to be changed. 1 Den. This is the one that makes goblins. This, if you have 2 or more, it comes in tapped, and then it makes goblins. 1 Island. Pretty Lord of the Rings. Shout out to Jake behind the cameraman. 1 Mountain. 1 Swamp.
All right.
Sideboard is mostly answers. So we play 3 Rending Bombs. This is again for anything white or blue. Does 4 damage. This cannot be countered by spells or abilities, and does 4 damage to any target white or blue creature.
Pretty good.
Then we play 3 copies of Extinction Event. This is for 3 colors and a black. Again, this is for a couple matchups. Mostly mono white. Can be played against mono green. Devotion. You can choose odd or even. Creatures with converted mana costs of the chosen color are destroyed. Then we play 2 Misery Shadows. This is a card that you're definitely going to side into mono green Devotion. People are talking about how this card is so bad and doesn't deserve a main deck spot. I agree that it doesn't deserve a main deck spot, but what I don't agree is that it doesn't deserve at least a sideboard spot, because you can, any creature that your opponent controls is destroyed, it would die, it would be exiled instead. And then for 1 colorless, mind you, 1 colorless mana, and this doesn't tap, this is an ability you can do over and over again. It gets +1/+1 until the end of turn.
So not once per turn, +1/+1 mana ability, and then it says fuck the black players, fuck the green players.
Yeah, and also prevents like spirits being able to, like Grixis, like in the Grixis mirror match, you prevent them from having their things that they need in the graveyard to reanimate. So it's nice to have. 2 Brotherhood's Ends. Again, this is something you're going to sideboard into the white matchup, the mono white, any aggro matchup that is like white weenies or anything you know is under 3 power. So for 1 and double red pip, you can choose one. You can deal 3 damage to each creature and each planeswalker, which is really, really nice, because like into mono green, you just go Brothers In, deal 3 damage to everything, and you hit their planeswalkers as well as their mana dorks and everything else. Or you, in the Rakdos Sack match, you can destroy all artifacts with mana value 3 or less. And what's funny is like other matchups that play Rakener Bankbuster, this pops Rakener Bankbuster.
Sheesh. So this is your answer to that plus 3 draw engine that you are playing as well.
Yes.
Okay.
We play 2 copies of Braid. It's just more removal. We have room and it destroys artifacts. So into Rakdos sack, like if we're going into like a matchup where Witch's Oven into Cauldron, into food, into that shenanigans, we want to play these. So these are like really the 4 cards we're gonna side into that matchup.
And all of these hit their sack outlets too.
Correct.
Which stops them from going to Value Town.
Right. So not only is it going to hit everything that they want to hit, but we're also going to hit their engine at the same time. So these are cards that you'll side into those. We play an additional Mystical Dispute. Again, it's in the main board. We don't need to talk about it. This is from March of the Machine. This is the most underrated new counter spell, in my opinion, in the game right now. So for 1 colorless and 1 blue, you get to choose one. You can counter target spell with mana value 2 or less. Okay, fine. Okay, that's great. But it's the second part that matters here. So we get to counter target red or green spell with a mana value 6 or less.
Which is going to hit all those mana doors. Which is going to hit all those
everything. All their big monsters, all their big creatures. You hit their Cavalier. You hit their Polakranos. You hit their Kiora. You hit their Oath.
And this also hits the like the larger sack engines for like Rakdos Sacrifice. It hits Grief. It hits Fury.
Well, no, it doesn't. In Modern, it doesn't hit Grief or Fury. It'll hit Fury. It won't hit Grief because Grief is a mana value of 4, and so even though they're evoking for it, there's still the mana value still 4. So this doesn't get around evoke.
That's good.
So no, that's unfortunate. This doesn't get around evoke. It's good for Rakdos players. This doesn't get around evoke. So in Modern, I would play something like this, or Force of Negation, or Force of Will, if you're talking about Modern, because you brought up Grief and Fury. So these would become a Force of Negation and a Force of Will. The main deck would be playing Subtleties. There'd be a lot of changes in the counter spells. And then 1 negate.
Can't go wrong with the OG. Say no.
And it's the new art, because it's the Weird Johnny looking type art that's been negated or whatever. It's just the art that I like. And it counters target non-creature spell. So that's the list. Today did not, again, go very well. I was on a break for a little bit. But we've made some changes. And again, it was just mostly misplays and running into matchups that were just not
unplayable.
Not so much unplayable, just like having to like mulligan all damn day and not seeing my combo for most of the day, or like every single player having an answer.
That I mean, it's the game of Magic. That'll happen sometimes.
No, which is why we play Magic. That's why I came back to Magic. Vanguard and other card games, Pokemon. I'm not gonna disrespect a couple other games. Have just kind of sort of felt stale and dead by turn 3.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Magic, like, sure, games can go by quick, but there's interaction on each player's turn at every point in time, at any given moment. And we have a larger card hand size.
Which obviously makes playing the games, if they last longer, much better. Yes. Gives you more options for removal and whatnot.
Yes, and we also have a mulligan option as well that other games, one game has, and then the other game has, but only if you don't have any basics Pokemon. And then your opponent gets a +1. So, yeah, Grixis mid-range control over the top. Shout out to I guess you probably have questions other than that.
I don't think I got any more questions other than that, other than like any other extra changes you'd make to this list going forward.
Just the land base, I think. I think land base needs a couple more changes. I think that now that we have things that are a payoff, aka the Nicobolus and the Four Thoughtseize, and once we get the rest of the land base done, I think it'll become a real threat moving forward.
Okay, okay. Do you have any closing comments or shout outs you'd like to make?
Well, first of all, shout out to cameraman.
Much appreciated.
It's been around most of my gaming history. Shout out to my local game store. Shout out to Grove Warden Games. Thank you for hosting this event. Shout out to my boy Jack and Alexander, who took first and second place. My boy Jack, congratulations on qualifying. Much love